Happy Saturday, everyone. It's Joe, and it's time for Pocket with Joe over here on Sports Grid, a Sports Grid TV. We have so many games today on the board. 15 game a slate out there and plenty of opportunities to make some money. Now, if you cashed with me yesterday, riding both of those dogs and you put them in a parlay or you put them in that puck line parlay, still, if you put them plus at 1.5, you would have paid out plus 149. But for those of you who did tail, both dogs on that money line. It was a beautiful payday last night. That parlay coming in at over plus 400. So it's going to be another great day. Let's make some money out there on the ice. I have some underdogs I'm liking. I have some favorites I'm liking on that puck line to get a nice big win, including the LA Kings. So you guys, let's get straight to these games today. Because like I said, we got a heck of a lot of games to go over. We're going to start with the first one. The Nashville Predators taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Now the Oilers coming in here as the favorite at minus 182, plus 150 for the Nashville Predators. Total 6.5, juice to that over at minus 128. Now, we know this Edmonton Oilers team has been struggling. Connor McDavid hasn't looked like himself this season. Right away, that's my first target here. I'm going to look at Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid for that anytime goal. We're getting value on him for that goal at minus 105. I definitely think he comes out nice and strong in this game. Now, the Oilers, their problem always and always will be their goaltending until they make some adjustments here. So I do believe the Predators will be able to score in this one, but I'm expecting Edmonton to get off to that nice hot start. You can't take Edmonton here for the win, just a straight up on the money line because there's way too much juice. You could look at it in regulation, but this Predators team could push them here with Campbell and net. So I'm never easy taking the puck line with the Edmonton Oilers with their goaltending situation. But what I will do is take that puck line in the first period. I expect that hot start right out of them, straight out of the gate, laying the half a goal here is plus 136 on the puck line in the first period for Edmonton. So I will go that way. Saros expected in net for the Nashville Predators. He's been pretty solid this season. He's got a 2.68 goals against average. So I do expect Saros to come out stronger than Campbell, but I do expect offensively for Edmonton to start looking like the team we expected. So give me Connor McDavid anytime goal. That's my favorite bet here. So shout out to everyone out there watching over on IG as well as Twitter, X. If you're watching on IG and you want to jump ahead to any of these games, the show will be bookmarked after, so you don't have to stick around for the full show. You can just go over to Twitter to be able to watch the replay. Dallas fan here in the house. Dallas, hard game today versus Vancouver. We'll get to that one in a couple of moments, but Dallas being so hot as of late. Let's look at the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Now, all odds are from over on FanDuel, so make sure you head on over there looking for these odds. Winnipeg Jets minus 142 on the money line today. The Arizona Coyotes at home at plus 118 in Mullet Arena, and we got a total of 6.5. Now, that's 6.5 juice to the under at minus 124. And it makes sense why we're seeing this one juice to that under. Neither of these teams have been putting up a lot of goals. Connor Hellebuck expected here for the Winnipeg Jets. Now, he's been letting these goals come in. The Arizona Coyotes, while they're one of those teams that I really do think is improved on the season to score a lot of goals on Connor Hellebuck and push this one over that total of 6.5, I am just not seeing. And they are averaging 3.3 goals per game. Winnipeg Jets at 3.1, but this Jets team needs to snap this losing streak they're on, and I think they get it done today. And what better way to get it done than really shut down the Arizona Coyotes by using their defense? We know they've got a weak kill out here. Their penalty kill needs to really step up. They're only holding opponents off on 69.4% of the time, but defensively, they're holding opponents to 28.8 shots on goal. So I do like what their defense is doing on that side. The Arizona Coyotes defensively, they're strong, holding opponents to only 2.7. They are allowing those shots to come in at 31.5. But I do think this is a defensive battle more than an offensive battle. I'm willing to take this one under the 6.5. And I do think the Winnipeg Jets come out and break that losing streak. Now, they've been phenomenally strong versus Arizona in Arizona, winning the last 4 meetings in Arizona. So I do think this is another one they can come in. They've had some really hard games as of late, and you look at those losses and how they've lost it. Shootout loss to Montreal. They also had an overtime loss to the Rangers, and then that loss to Vegas. And you can't blame anyone for losing a game to the Vegas Golden Knights with how strong they're playing at the moment. Now, the Arizona Coyotes are off a win over Montreal. Actually, it was a 3-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens in their last game out. But I do think this is one where we count on Winnipeg. Let's look at the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens are on the road today, minus 104 on the money line, taking on the St. Louis Blues at minus 115. Now total 6.5, juice to that under at minus 122. St. Louis made us money last night. We backed them last night. They got us that beautiful plus money. I'm off them tonight. I don't think St. Louis on the back-to-back here can beat the Montreal Canadiens. This Montreal team never gives up. And now they need to start hot out of the gate because this is a team that falls behind. And they fall behind quick, and then they're able to, in some of those cases, come back and get those wins. We need a solid 3 periods out of this team from a start to finish. The St. Louis Blues have been strong defensively, really limiting opponents' ability to get those shots on goal. The number has gone up a little bit at 32.7 shots on goal per game, but only allowing that 2.67. Really held by Jordan Binnington being so strong in net. Jordan Binnington was phenomenal for us last night. Now, he will not be in net tonight. Hofer will be in goal here. He's got a 3.00 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.913. Sam Montague has been confirmed in goal for the Montreal Canadiens, and I like this kid. I think he's great. Out there in net, 2.90 goals against average and a save percentage of just over 900. Now, the Montreal Canadiens are allowing teams to take a lot of shots, pepper their goaltenders here at 35.2. But you look at the St. Louis Blues, this isn't a team that's high scoring. And yes, they did come off that game with a lot of goals scored last night. But you have to look at those empty netters coming at the end of that game, really making their numbers look inflated. They're only averaging 26.2 shots on goal per game and 2 goals per game. I think Montreal will outplay them in this one. Montreal comes in rested as well. And we know, like I said, St. Louis on that back-to-back. So what I'm going to look at here is a couple of things. I'm going to look at Montreal. The value on Montreal at minus 104 is just crazy. I'm also going to look at Shane Monahan here. Shane Monahan has been phenomenally strong for the Montreal Canadiens. He has 6 goals and 3 assists. Cole Caulfield here, 4 goals, 6 assists as well. I would look at both of those guys for their points or their goals tonight. I do think those are coming in versus St. Louis. And St. Louis does a good job staying out of the box. But with this back-to-back, I think we'll see tied legs. I think we'll see more penalties here for them and Montreal to be able to capitalize. So the Blues on that back-to-back situation have lost their last 6 games in this situation. One other thing to look at, and I think it's a really good parlay piece if you're building a parlay in hockey today, is to look at the under 3.5 for the St. Louis Blues team total. That is coming in at minus 156. I wouldn't bet it straight up, but we know the St. Louis Blues haven't been putting up a lot of goals on the board. I really don't see Sam Montague allowing 4 goals to the St. Louis Blues. I think they hit right around 2 goals in this game, 3 at the most, not 4. So I do like that. And because I'm looking at St. Louis to score less goals in this game, I lean to that under. Now, I'm a little worried with Hofer coming out here. I'm not loving the under because I think Montreal could score 4 goals themselves. So that all just depends on how many Sam Montague saves. And I do think it's between 2 or 3 that he allows in. So caution with that under just because of that. I do think Montreal is the right side in this one, though, and we're getting value on them here on the road. I just don't see the Blues getting another win here. 2-7 in their last 9 in a 3-4 situation. So, and the Canadiens have won 5 of the last 6 meetings versus the St. Louis Blues. So interesting one for sure. Let's now look at the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins are in action today, and you guys know I love betting the Boston Bruins. We lost them in regulation in the last game. That one got pushed to overtime, and I still can't believe they weren't able to close that one out in reg. Now, minus 146 here for the St. Louis Blues on the money line. The Detroit Red Wings at plus 125. Total 5.5 at minus 122 to the over on that 5.5. Okay. All mark expected here for the Boston Bruins. He's got a 1.77 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.939. And Huso expected for the Detroit Red Wings, 3.28 goals against average and a save percentage of 900. Now, when we look at these two teams, the Boston Bruins have been phenomenally strong. They've yet to lose in regulation this season, and the Red Wings have lost 4 of their last 5 games. I struggle to get behind the Red Wings here in this one. The stars on deck for the Bruins on Monday. I don't think the Bruins really overlook anyone for who they have to play next. Now, their defense has been so phenomenally strong. They've got the best kill in the whole league at 97.4%. The Red Wings have been so strong on the power play, converting 6th best overall in the league at 28.6%. But against this Bruins defense, I just struggle to see it happening. And versus Allmark, I struggle to see them finding the back of the net at will. We know this team has been putting up a lot of goals on the season, averaging that 3.64 goals per game. But I don't know if we can see it happening in this one. You guys, excuse me for 1 second. Oh, you guys, I apologize. I'm still fighting this stupid cold here that made me lose my voice from screaming too much at the Heritage Classic. And it's just uphill battle here, but we're getting there. So I'm concerned with the Red Wings' ability to score in this one. We know that they're just not getting these shots on goal in these games. Well, they're getting the shots. They're just not being able to convert on a lot of these ones. What I'm going to do is look at them here to really struggle versus the Boston Bruins. I'm going to take their team total under 2.5. It's scary with the Red Wings. DeBrincat has been absolutely phenomenal, but their offense started off so hot to start the season. They were averaging over 4 goals per game. This number is starting to come down. So I'm going to look at them under 2.5 goals. That's coming in at plus 100. I think we can see a lower scoring. When we look at their last 10 games versus the Boston Bruins, they are averaging 2.2 goals per game. So staying under that 2.5, again, scary situation. Allmark versus the Red Wings, phenomenally strong. He's gone 6-1-2 versus the Red Wings in his career with a 1.96 goals against average. We look at Huso here for the Detroit Red Wings, 2-1-1 in his 4 games in goal against the Bruins with a 3.24 goals against average, save percentage of 0.908. So I am looking for Boston to get the win. I'm looking for Boston to be able to capitalize. I think Boston will be able to hit Huso with his record versus the Bruins. I'm a little weary of taking this game to the under because I think Boston could come out and put up 4 goals themselves. But I do think we stay under that total because I don't see the Red Wings scoring 3 goals. So the Red Wings under 2.5 goals, my favorite bet of this game. And yes, Taylor, I am okay. Just still fighting this a stupid cold that has me coughing still. Okay, next game on the board. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Ottawa Senators. Now, Senators at home, minus 115. Current odds on FanDuel, minus 104 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Total 6.5. Now, this one is juiced to the over, and rightly so. The Lightning's defense really has been allowing a lot of goals to come in at 3.2. They're allowing 34.9 shots on goal per game, which is 30th overall in the league. Now, their special teams, their penalty kill has been strong. But the Ottawa Senators as well, allowing those goals to come in at 3.22. This is more for their goaltending, I really do believe. Corpusello expected in goal here, 3.18 goals against average. And we've got Johansson expected for the Toronto or for the Tampa Bay Lightning with a 2.703 goals against average. So strong goaltending for the Lightning, but defensively, this team does allow their goaltender to really be peppered. Now, both of these teams are putting up those goals. We got strong power plays out of both teams. The best power play, though, is out of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think this is a competitive one, and I think this is a game where you could look for the ability to go to overtime in this one. But at the end of the day, I think the Senators are the right side at home on their home ice. I see them being able to pull off this win. I'm really impressed with what we've seen out of this team offensively this season. Like you guys know, this is one of those teams that I expected to be able to get to the playoffs and expected a lot of improvement out of this team. Now, the one thing about them, they have to stay out of the penalty box. If they take these penalties in this game, they will lose. Toronto or Tampa Bay is so strong at staying out of that box, limiting themselves, holding themselves out of that box. They only spend 8.1 minutes on average in the box. So in this one, if the Sens are in the box all game because they're loaded with penalties, averaging 4.13 minutes, they will lose this game. I'm going to look at the first period, both teams to score as well in this one. And that's coming in at plus 140. I see Joe over here on IG. The Habs, 20 minutes away. You're going to go watch them today. Enjoy that game. That's going to be a great one. And I think the Bruins, even though they struggle versus the Red Wings in Detroit, I think the Bruins are able to get the win. So we jumped over that game. If you want to go back over on Twitter and watch that again. And we have Kelly over here saying the over 6, Tampa Bay and Ottawa. I like that as well. I do think this one goes over that total. The over is 18, 17, and 1 in the last 26 meetings between these two, 8, 2, and 1 in the last 11 in Ottawa. So definitely should be a good one. Columbus just sorry, Toronto. I can't talk. Ever since I coughed, you guys, have you been able to tell I cannot talk? The Tampa Bay Lightning have struggled in their last couple, and I'm not buying into this team at the moment until their defense starts stepping up a little bit more, giving their goaltender a little bit more support against a really strong offensive team like the Ottawa Senators, and with Tampa being on the road, I just can't buy into them. So give me the Sens on the money line here. The Sens on the money line minus 115. The over 6.5, both teams to score in that first period at plus 140, I think makes so much sense. Corpuscello expected in goal for the Ottawa Senators, and I think he's really due for a really big bounce back game. He hasn't looked as solid as we saw him last season. So I'm looking for him to finally start looking like the goaltender we know and love. Joe, thank you for saying I feel better. I am starting to feel better. It's just I start talking. More and more I start talking, the worse I feel. So Buffalo Sabres taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs, finally getting to Toronto. Levi expected back here for the Buffalo Sabres tonight, which is great to hear. Now, this is his first game back off of injury. So caution here, always with a goaltender coming back from injury. Joseph Woe confirmed here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's got a 1.89 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.942. Looking at Levi, he's been pretty strong. He's had some bad games, but 3.26 goals against average, save percentage below 900. I do think this is one of those games where we look at Buffalo on the back-to-back. They didn't give it everything they had last night, and they were in the classic look-ahead spot to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. But I do think it's too much here with them playing last night, even though they played a terrible game, to expect them to be able to come out and beat this Toronto team. Toronto's off 3 losses, and this team wants to get back in the win column. And I think they get back in the win column in a big way versus the Buffalo Sabres tonight. I'm going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs on that puck line, laying half a goal laying a goal and a half. That's coming in at plus 104. I think they get the big win. They've got the 4th most high danger shots in the whole league versus the Sabres, who have the 4th least high danger shots in the whole league. Now, I do like Buffalo and I like what this team brings to the table, but Toronto's just in a perfect situation here. And I think it's a bad scheduling spot for the Sabres on the back-to-back. These two teams trend to the over, but I don't know if I can get there. I really don't. I'm not sure if Buffalo will be able to put up their shares of the goal on Joseph Wall with how incredibly strong he has been as of late. Now, I do think, though, Toronto will be able to put up a lot of goals themselves. So this game for me is Toronto on the puck line. It's the only way I'm going with this one. Let's look at Austin Matthews. You know, you got to look at Austin Matthews for that anytime goal as well. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Washington Capitals then kick off at 7 p.m. Eastern. Current odds on this one, the Washington Capitals minus 152 plus 126 here for the Columbus Blue Jackets, total of a 6.5, minus 112. To the under, that's coming in at minus 108 to the over in this game. I do think this is a good game for the Washington Capitals here. Now, this offense really needs to wake up. It's like their offense is sleeping out there on the ice. Ovechkin really needs to take lead in this one. And I am looking for a big day out of Alex Ovechkin. I'm going to take him for that anytime goal again. I know we've been riding him. He needs to come out nice and strong. That's coming in at minus 110. I do think they'll be able to outplay the Columbus Blue Jackets in this game. Elvis is expected in goal for Columbus. Actually, he's confirmed. He's got 2.97 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.902. I just don't trust Elvis. And I do think Washington, with Lindgren back, will be able to capitalize in this game. Now, Lindgren needs a bounce back in this one. We saw him allow those 4 goals in his last game out. He absolutely struggled. That was his first game back off an injury. I do think this is one where we can count on Lindgren to really stand on his head. So the Capitals, the money line has been juiced at minus 152. I'm not sure if I can get there with that. Maybe looking at the Washington Capitals on the puck line in the first period, laying a half a goal, expecting them to come out nice and strong. Last time these two teams played, it was a back and forth goal fest, 7-6 win for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I can't see it in this one. I do have faith in Lindgren to keep this one a lower scoring game, so I do lean to the under 6.5 in this one, although that total has moved from 6 to 6.5, so money coming in on that over. But I do think the Washington Capitals are the right side. Okay, the Carolina Hurricanes are in action tonight. They're minus 134 here on the road versus the New York Islanders. The Islanders at plus 112, total of 4.5 at minus 114 to the over. This game is going to come down to goaltending, and I really do believe it. We look at both of these teams. Both teams are strong in their own way. The Carolina Hurricanes come in with such a strong power play, second overall in the league. They're able to get 34.4 shots on goal per game and 3.36 goals per game. Now, defensively, they're limiting opponents to 26.1 shots on goal, first overall in the league. That's what we expect out of Carolina when we talk about the Carolina Hurricanes. This defense is so solid. Offensively, this team is stepping up as well. The problem is here, Frederik Andersen, their goaltending hasn't been on par. So they're allowing overall the 3.55 goals per game. I can't trust Frederik Andersen, although his number's coming down at 2.87 goals against this Islanders team. I don't know if I'm in love with his numbers and what he's doing. I do think the Carolina Hurricanes are the right side in this one, though, because offensively they're strong and their defense should be able to give support in front of Frederik Andersen. Sorokin, though, is a goaltender I trust. I wish I could flip goaltenders and then we could take the Carolina Hurricanes straight up on the puck line to get the win, but we can't because Sorokin's in net for the Islanders and not for the Carolina Hurricanes. Sorokin's so phenomenally strong. 2.98 goals against average. And yes, that is higher than Frederik Andersen, but he is the better goalie in this situation. I was trying to find the goalie props and it wasn't out on FanDuel as of yet for his safe shots on goal. That is where I'm going. I'm looking at Sorokin's safe shots on goal. I do think Carolina wins this. He started, though, 12 games versus the Hurricanes, including playoffs. He's gone 4-8. And he has a 2.76 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.926. He's strong versus them, even though going 4-8. So I would look at his safe shots because Carolina averages 34.4 shots on goal. The New York Islanders giving up 34.4. He's going to face at least 38 shots on goal tonight. That's what I think, at least, right? Because the Islanders are not going to stop those shots. He'll face at least 38. I expect him to let in at least 3 of those 38. So anything over 30 save shots on goal for Sorokin, or 30 or under, I'm definitely going to ride. I'd even take it up to 32 save shots on goal for Sorokin. The offensive depth and firepower here for the Carolina Hurricanes is something I'm not going to pass up on. Oh, yeah. Carolina does own New York. That is for sure, Kelly. I like where you're going with that one. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, the Hurricanes, you look at them in New York, 25-8, last 33 meetings in New York. They've also gone 17-4 in their last 20 meetings overall. This game should be a defensive battle with both teams coming out strong, but I can't get there on this total. I don't want to touch it because we know anything can happen if a goalie has an off night. Should be defensive, but I think Carolina, best way to go with this one. I really want to take them on the puck line for a nice, huge win, but Sorokin's a difference maker. Why? I can't take them on the puck line here. Next game up, we got the LA Kings taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, Flyers team made us money last night, winning us with that dog money. I can't get behind them with the dog money tonight. They're plus 158, though. So great value if you can get behind the Flyers to pull off 2 upsets in a row. Just not buying it. The LA Kings rolling into town, minus 192 on the money line. Total is 6.5. Now, I can't bet them on the money line, but I can back the LA Kings on that puck line, minus 1.5 at plus 122. I think the Kings come out and dominate in this one and dominate in a big way. It is a really interesting goalie matchup. Now we look at the LA Kings, Cam Talbot expected in goal, 2.41 goals against average. Cal Peterson expected here for the Flyers. Now, Cal Peterson was on the LA Kings last year. So a lot of times these goalies against their past teams can really stand on their head and do phenomenally well. But we know Cal Peterson has been up and down between the AHL and the NHL. He also was just picked up by the Flyers. And I think we'll see the advantage here for the LA Kings. I think they hit him and they hit him hard. And I never want to wish that against a goalie, but I do when we want to make some money, especially on the LA Kings on that puck line. So last year for the Kings, Cal Peterson went 5-3-2 with a 3.75 goals against average, save percentage below 900 at 0.868. I do think he gets peppered with shots in this one. We know the LA Kings averaging 4.2 goals per game, second best overall in the league, and 32.9 shots on goal. The second highest team in the league for shooting. So they're shooting at a rate of 12.8%. It's going to be too much for Cal Peterson. I wouldn't doubt if he's pulled in this game, and that's why I wouldn't look at his save shots, because I could see him being pulled in this one. The Flyers, though, do a good job of limiting opponents, holding them to 26.4, third best overall in the league for those shots on goal. But that being said, they're on that back-to-back. They had a phenomenal game last night. I see defense struggling in this game versus the Kings that just come out phenomenally strong. Kings also have a really strong kill here. They're also really strong defensively, holding opponents to 27.7 shots on goal. So 4th best overall in the league. So both defenses are going to come out strong. Both defenses are going to give that support in front of the net. We all know Talbot needs that support out of the Kings in front of the net. So they better show up tonight for him. And then the Kings can win this on that puck line. So give me the puck line there. Next game on the board. That's all I'm liking in that one, you guys. Not too many bets in all of these games since we have so many. The Florida Panthers taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, minus 184 here for the Carolina Panthers, plus 152 for the Chicago Blackhawks. Total of 6.5 at minus 114 to the under. When we look at this one, you guys, Connor Bedard, I swear if we just took Connor Bedard every single game for the first goal scorer, we would be making so much money. He did have that one game, I believe it was versus Boston, where he scored that first goal and it was taken back. But I couldn't even imagine. And I got to go back and look. It just seems like every time Connor Bedard scores, it's like the first goal of the game. You can take him for the first goal here at plus 1,200. Take him for an anytime goal at plus 170. I definitely am going to put a little bit of money on both of those. I do think there's quick goals in this game as well. I like the first period over 1.5 that's coming in at -134. I also like both teams to score in the first period at +164. We know Matthew Tkachuk isn't going to come out and want to be outplayed by Connor Bedard. He's got that ego, he's got that chip on his shoulder, and we know there's players across the league like this that they want to come out and beat these young rookies. So Matthew Tkachuk for the anytime goal as well at +115. First period over is what I'm liking in this one. I think that first period over 1.5 and the both teams to score is exactly the way I'm going to put my money. Anytime goal for the new kid. Yeah, we definitely have to look at him in Chicago to be able to get those goals. They're on home ice in this one. And we know offensively this team has been struggling, but their best chance out of the gate is right out of the gate for Chicago. So we do also have Stolarz confirmed in goal for the Florida Panthers. He's not a Bobrovsky, even though you look at his numbers, he's got a 1.02 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.96. For the last time we saw him out was versus the Sharks. He saved 24 shots. No, sorry, on October 24th, he allowed 1 goal and 28 shots. So it was versus the Sharks, you guys. I do expect Chicago to have some offensive firepower in this one versus him. They've got a weak power play. They're converting on only 9.1%. Connor Bedard has to come out right out of the gate nice and hot and hit them hard. And Florida is averaging 33.6 shots on goal per game. Peter Maret's expected in goal. So give me the over. Give me the first period over. I like better and both teams to score in the first period. Connor Bedard again, +170 to score. An anytime goal and first goal at +1,200. And Matthew Tkachuk at +115. Next game up, we have the New York Rangers taking on the Minnesota Wild. Current odds over on FanDuel for this one, the New York Rangers at +100, -120 here for the Wild. Total 6.5 juice to that under at -132. The under. There are 5.5s out there if you're looking for an over bet. The over 6.5 though is +106 on FanDuel. I'm going to take the over. I do think here that while we have good goaltending, we have really strong teams offensively as well. And I know what the defenses have been able to do. I'm worried about the scheduling spot here for the New York Rangers. They've been on the road a lot as of late. They had a 5-game road trip, home game versus Carolina Hurricanes. Were able to pull off that win. And now they're back out on the road. And then they're back home versus the Red Wings. So this scheduling spot isn't what I like to back. I do think the Wild can get the win here. And if the Wild are to win this, they've got to find a way past the defense here of the New York Rangers. And oh my God, when someone says Jonathan Quick, it's hard to believe he's still in the league. Just joking. Sorry, Jonathan Quick, but it's true. You guys know it. Jonathan Quick isn't a goalie that instills a lot of confidence here. If this was Igor Shesterkin, I would say, okay, the Rangers have a chance of continuing this hot streak and just not believing it. Jonathan Quick has been strong so far this season, but he's got a lot of support from this defense. And I think the defense with this scheduling spot will have some cracks in it. Now they've got a 1.9 goals against goals that they've allowed on the season. So second best overall in the league. And they're holding opponents to 26.3 shots. So we're going to need a lot out of this Wild's team offensively. Now, the Wild have lost their last 4, including that doubleheader versus the Devils. They're going to be eager to light the lamp in this game. Offensively, this team is averaging 3.5 goals per game. I think they do hit Jonathan Quick and hit Jonathan Quick hard. Give me the Minnesota Wild. I hate to do it here because you guys know I like the Rangers and I like what I'm seeing out of this team. But I think the Wild will get to them. Issues on defense for this team. So we've seen those struggles out of them. Special teams as well. They need to start converting on those power plays. But I think they can get it done. And because I think the Wild can get it done, I really do like this over. We're getting plus money to the over 6.5. We know that the power play here for the Rangers is the third best overall. So the Wild have to do a really good job of limiting their time in the box, playing a smart game, and they can get this win. Now, Quick had that shootout win versus the Edmonton Oilers. So this is why his numbers are looking so good. Edmonton was playing so terrible offensively in that game. I- all my faith is coming in quick and having a bad game. Again, I hate putting that bad juju on these goalies, but that is why I am backing the Minnesota Wild in this one. Kelly backing the Minnesota Wild as well. Let's make some freaking money. You are right. Sending out the love to all of you guys out there watching. Let's jump to the next game. Before I start coughing again, you guys, I apologize for my cold here. I cannot wait for it to go away. It's been over like 10 days now. Okay. The Calgary Flames taking on the Seattle Kraken. Pick 'em game here. Now, Calgary's been phenomenally strong versus the Kraken. So, one thing to note, but Calgary hasn't looked good this season. Total of 5.5 minus 132 to the over. I've got to take that over right away. We look at these two teams. They played 13 games versus each other, averaging 6.2 goals per game. Calgary running in, averaging that 3.5, and the Kraken at the 2.6. I do think this is one where we see both of these teams come out so strong offensively. Goaltending issues for both of these teams, offensive struggles as well. But I'm expecting the offense to really snap back in this matchup versus the goaltending. Markstrom allowing 3.03 goals on average per game, and Grubauer at that 2.83. Now, Grubauer is a goalie that I trust more at home, but I do think Calgary, of those 6 losses, and with the influx of AHL players that they're bringing up and players they're sending down, it's like whose head is on the chopping block every single minute in Calgary other than Kadri and Huberdeau, because there's not much they can do with those contracts that are locked up. I think the influx. We know we made money on Zari in the last game. If you were able to bet him, you can bet Zari for the anytime goal. A couple other players have moved up for this week, so I'm expecting that offensive firepower. And the Seattle Kraken are going to answer back. We know this is a team that loves to trade those goals when they get into a game like that. So I do think you go over the 5.5 minus 134. If you want to bump it up to the over 6.5, you're going to get plus money. And I think this one does go over the 6.5. But the best bet, I think, is take the first period over 1.5. That's coming in at minus 124. And both teams to score in the first period at plus 192. I think 4-3 game all day long. This one has the opportunity to go to OT as well. Plus 360, I believe, this one to go to overtime. But like I said, Calgary plays the Kraken hard. 6-1 in the last 7 meetings and 4-0 in the last 4 meetings in Seattle. Yeah, Fox out for New York as well. Adam Fox. He is a hard player. So with him out, it is a huge advantage for Minnesota. Okay, you guys, we have 3 more games to go over. I am on in-game live tonight, overtime. That is between 8 and midnight. So make sure you join me over there. We will be betting all of these games and everything happening in college football, talking NFL for tomorrow. So don't miss out on the show. It's a lot of fun. Myself and Scott Wetzel. Next game. Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the San Jose Sharks. Oh my God, the poor San Jose Sharks. Their team is sicker than my cold is right now. I do not know what has happened to this team. Losing 10-1 to the Vancouver Canucks in the last game. They cannot catch a break. And did you guys see the sign of that poor kid? My first Sharks game. Kid is heartbroken, never going to cheer for those Sharks again. He looked like 6 out there. At least they got 1 goal for him, but they're plus 205 here on the money line. Minus a 255 for the Pittsburgh Penguins, total of 6.5, minus 122 to the under, plus 100 to the over. I'm going to go over this one. Neither goalie has been solid for these teams. Tristan Jarry, looking at him versus the Sharks, he's 0-1-1 in the 2 games versus the Sharks with a 3.94 goals against average, save percentage of 0.875. Now, this Sharks team hasn't been lighting up the lab, but the Penguins have struggled in San Jose, going 6-14. I'm not calling the Sharks for the win. I just think they will give us enough goals for this one to go over. Now, the Penguins should score their share on Blackwood. You guys know we rode Blackwood in that one game, as he had that phenomenal one versus the Avs, and then he completely fell apart. He's got a 4.17 goals against average, save percentage of 0.895. He's 2-5-0 in his 7 games versus the Sharks with the goals against or versus the Penguins with the goals against average of 3.32. Save percentage a bit better than what we see now with Tristan Jarry versus the Sharks, but his save percentage is 0.904. Now, could the Sharks pull off the upset? Any given day, we can see that upset on the ice. Am I willing to put my money on the San Jose Sharks? Heck no. I'm not putting my money here. It is the over 6.5 and the over 1.5 in the first period at minus 138. And then nothing else in this game. I can't trust Pittsburgh with how they've played in San Jose. They lost to the Ducks, and now they have to play the Ducks again on Tuesday. So they've kind of got to look ahead versus a team that they've lost to. Could be an overlooked spot here. But this Sharks team is that bad that I think even if the Penguins didn't get on the ice, I couldn't trust the Sharks to pull off the upset wins. So, yeah, give me the over 6.5, you guys. Okay, I know there's Dallas Stars fans out there. Michael, Dallas Stars fan, you're coming in at minus 120. The Sharks, not the Sharks. The Canucks at plus 100, total 6.5 at minus 132 to the under, plus 108 to the over. I think this game is one the Canucks can pull off the home upset on their home ice. I look at the Dallas Stars and how well they've done on this road trip. Edmonton, Calgary. They went Calgary, Edmonton. Now they have to go out to Vancouver. And then they have the Bruins at home on deck on Monday. I don't think they're overlooking the the Canucks in this one, but I do think with the Bruins on deck, this might be a game where the Canucks can pull off the win at home, and Demko is confirmed in goal for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, if it was going to be Casey DeSmith, I would 100% have looked here at the Stars to be able to get the win, because I don't think Casey DeSmith's at the level that Demko's at. But Demko's being absolutely lights out. He's got a 1.79 goals against average with a save percentage of 0.940. Ottinger expected here for the Dallas Stars. Will be interesting to see what they do with the Bruins on deck on Monday. Now, the Vancouver Canucks coming off that big win versus the Sharks. You would expect this to be a letdown, but I think it would be more of a letdown if they came off a big win versus a more confident team other than the Sharks. And I hate to say that. I hate to put down the Sharks, but that's how bad they're playing as of late. So give me the Vancouver Canucks on their home ice here. And Quinn Hughes, look at Quinn Hughes for his points tonight. The points are too juice. Look at him for the assist or the anytime goal. Quinn Hughes has been absolutely phenomenal. He's leading defenseman in points so far this season, 16 points in 10 games. The most points, like I said, of all defensemen across the board in the league. That's it, you guys. The Stars also have struggled versus Vancouver. Something about some teams, and you've always got to look at those trends in betting hockey. They're 0-6 in the last 6 meetings versus Vancouver. They're also 1-4 in the last 5 meetings in Vancouver. And I thought we were done. We got one more game, you guys. We have the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And maybe it's because I really didn't want to get to this game that I was kind of going to leave it off the board here. The Avs rolling in at minus 118. Vegas at home at minus 102. It's crazy to think Vegas is an underdog, but this is another one. The Avs have owned this matchup. 6.5 at minus 138 to the under, plus 112 to the over. I'm going to bet this one to go to overtime, you guys. I think we've got an absolute battle on our hands, plus 360 here. Going to take Mikko Rantanen of the Colorado Avalanche to record a point, goal, or an assist. I don't care. You pick whichever one. I'm going to take him for the goal. 6 goals, 8 assists on the season. Cale Makar, phenomenal way to look as well. The defenseman here for Colorado, you're going to get so much value on him for that anytime goal. Going to sprinkle on it. It's plus 360. Cale Makar has been absolutely phenomenal. 3 goals, 8 assists this season. Both these teams are so strong on the power play. Both of these teams are strong offensively. Both of these teams are strong defensively. Which team doesn't make the mistake tonight is what you're really betting on in this one. The Colorado Avalanche versus Vegas Golden Knights. Best game on the board. Plus 360 to go to OT. Jack Eichel, Mark Stone. We know they're going to make an impact. Give me that first period under 1.5 at minus 106. I think both of these teams lock down defensively in this one. Colorado allowing 2.33 goals per game, 5th best overall in the league. Vegas allowing 2.13, 3rd best overall in the league. Shots on goal, right around the same, 28.7 Fifth best by the Avs, 29.9 by Vegas. These teams, the difference really is Colorado putting up a lot more shots on goal at 33.9, but we got Aiden Hill in net for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's got a 2.11 goals against average and a save percentage up 0.923. Georgiev expected here 2.40 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.195. Give me the under 1.5 first period. I'm not touching the full game. Empty netters, overtime, things can go crazy. Plus 360 on overtime. Minko Rantanen and Cale Makar would be the two players for the Avs that I'm looking at for those goals tonight. You guys, all the best in all your bets. That is everything. Kelly, thank you for everything and for showing up here today. I appreciate each and every one of you who comes on these shows on the daily. Hit that like, hit that retweet button to make this show continue to be possible over here on Sports Grid TV. Make sure you go over to Sports Grid TV on all social media, IG, Twitter, Snapchat even. We are all over the place. Give a follow on all social media platforms and join me tonight on Sports Grid Live. If you're looking where to follow that show, www.sportsgrid.com/watch, and you can find all the places. I'm on for a glorious, like my co-host says, 4 hours. Scott always says we're here for glorious 4 hours. It's a lot of fun, you guys. We'll be making some money betting these games. Yeah, huge card. You are so welcome, Lesman. But yeah, join me tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, and I also have some videos coming out for tomorrow's slate in the NFL. So stay tuned for Sports Grid for those. But I appreciate you guys. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here. Let's make some freaking money like we did last night. If we can have a night like last night where we make that beautiful plus money, I will be a happy girl going into tomorrow. So all the best, you guys. Let's make some freaking money on the ice.